Welcome back to another episode of Out of Touch. John Alden, Dustin Schutte, and Mitchell Page all back this week. Episode number 20. Mitchell fresh off of a golf trip to Scottsdale, Arizona. And I think that's where we're going to start today, because last week we found out right before the show started that he had just placed third in some sort of tournament or golf scramble something. And I'll let you explain what it was, Mitchell. But I was intrigued. You've always talked about on the show how into golf you are. And you've always been super competitive with it, because whenever you and Dustin specifically have talked about it, I'm not a golfer myself, but Dustin's always kind of mentioned that he's more of a casual golfer. And if I'm wrong, Dustin, if you're more competitive, you can correct me. But Mitchell, I remember you said this specifically one time, and it may not have been on any show. It may have just been off the cuff. But I think you said that if you ever shot over 100, you would probably just stop golfing altogether.
That's correct. That still stands true. I don't think I've shot 90 this year. That would be a bad day if I shot 90. That would be a very bad day. My wife would...
Look at the facial expression from Dustin as you say
that. Yeah, my wife would probably have to just go on a walk and let me just be sad for a little bit, because that would be a bad day. I take golf very seriously. It's like my favorite thing in the world. It's the reason that I moved south in the first place. I wanted to play golf more. So this last week I totally spaced. That's my bad.
I wasn't trying to call you out. I thought it was funny. And we had a great episode last week.
Yeah. You guys texted me that we were going to start recording as we were wrapping up. I had just finished, and I'll explain kind of what the whole tournament was, but I was walking off basically the golf course after just having a chance to win the whole thing, and wasn't able to do it, but it was really fun. So I'll be quick, but it was the Barstool Classic. I don't know how closely you guys follow Barstool, but each year they put on, it's an amateur handicapped event, but it's only 50% a handicap. So if you're a 10 handicap, you get 5 shots. So the good players, my partner mostly, I rode him the whole time. He was way better. He's the best player in the field according to handicap. So it was good to have him on my team. But 2-man event, and it's not a scramble, it's best ball. So, or 4 ball, I guess, depending on where you're living, they call it different things. So we both play our own ball. If he makes a 4 and I make a 10, our team score is a 4. So you're just playing off each other. But in that environment, because you're playing your own ball, sometimes your partner hits a bad shot, and then the pressure's on you to try to make par on the hole. And
so someone could be carrying the other golfer for the entire day.
For the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, for the whole thing. And there's definitely stretches. Golf is 18 holes is a long time, especially in tournament golf. And that's what made it so fun. It was an event that every shot felt really important. And I only get to play in a couple of those a year. And when we signed up for it, there's 25 qualifiers around the country. And then this was like the national finals. And at all the qualifiers, I think there was 50 or 60 teams that signed up. And the top 4 teams with the lowest score, all qualify. So we qualified in the first one in March, which feels like forever ago, but at a Myrtle Beach at True Blue. I think we came in 3rd or 4th, so got the automatic qualifier. Went out, and event was at Greyhawk in Scottsdale, Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know if anybody's ever been there, but unbelievable property. Arizona, Scottsdale specifically. I gotta have a house there at some point. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's just the best. But it was a really fun event, and I hit some good shots. He hit some good shots, and there were 100 teams, I believe, 110 teams, and 2-day event.
That's a lot for 3rd place.
Yeah, it was a 2-day event, and after the first day, we were 10 under par and tied for 2nd. One team was at 11 and made some really big putts down the stretch on the first day to put ourselves in that position. So we got to go off basically as the final group on the second day. And it was pressure packed, man. Every shot felt so important. We wound up getting to 18 under over 2 days. And with my partner being the low man in the field, he got 0 shots. So he played just phenomenal. He was 4 under par both days, I think 3 or 4 under par. But the way that it works is sticking with the top 4 team or top 4 theme. At the end of the 2 days, the top 4 teams play in what they call an alternate shot shootout. So all the golfers that were playing come and follow these 4 groups. We all play at the same time on the same hole, and we alternate. So I hit, and we start on the 10th hole, and it finishes on the 18th hole. And there's 4 groups, 8 total players, and everyone else that was there, including spectators, is following this. So my wife's got some cool videos. There's hundreds of people following us down the fairway as we're hitting these shots. And I
hit like you were on the PGA circuit or something.
It was unbelievable. There's like a famous Justin Timberlake quote where he played, I think, in the first time in the Celebrity Pro-Am out at Pebble Beach. And this is the height of his musical fame. And they interviewed him. He's a really good golfer. He's low handicap, I think 1 or 2. And they asked him what was his feelings on the first hole, especially the first tee. And he said, I've played shows in front of thousands and thousands of people. I would rather play a show in front of 1 million people than have 5 people watch me tee off on the first hole. And so for whatever reason, my partner thought I would hit a good shot on the literally first shot of the playoff. It's alternate shot, so there's no more best ball. I hit the first shot, he hits the second, I hit the putt, and then so on and so on and so on. So now it's whatever my shot does, that's where we have to play it from. There's no relying on your partner anymore. And the video of it is so cool. There are just, the tee box is lined 3-4 people deep. And I have never been more scared. My knees were shaking. But I hit one down the middle. I was excited. It was luckily just a little 4-iron that I could kind of bunt out there. But we didn't end up winning, but it was really cool. Just having that kind of pressure. I had missed it. There's nothing like it. Doing something that matters, especially in sport, when you're kind of the man in the arena, it's the coolest thing ever. But I do have to show you, and for people listening on Spotify or wherever you get this, that stinks. You should watch it on YouTube as well, because I'm going to show you the hat that they gave. This is what the entry hat, the welcome hat that they gave to everyone. 220 players got this hat. Only 2 won, but the hat, can you see this? It says Classic Champ on it, and it's short for Classic Championship. But now every time I wear this hat, they're going to be like, oh my God, you won? You're like, no.
Yeah, that is a little weird.
I came in second. Or came in third, I guess. But yeah, that was it. That's where I was. That's why I forgot. I've been looking forward to this for however many months, 9 months. And we took off to Scottsdale on Saturday, and I was grind mode till you texted me.
So, did you forget about it, or did you feel like talking about it would have made you nervous for it?
No, I wasn't nervous. I guess I just didn't even think to bring it up. I was just locked in, man.
Because sometimes I don't bring up certain things if I worry that making it public is going to make it a harder thing for me. You know?
No, I don't. I do think going into it, I don't think I had made a putt outside 3 feet in 2 months. My putter had just totally abandoned me, and that's a bad feeling when you're somebody that cares about it like me. You let that just leak into your everyday life. I was starting to worry that maybe I wouldn't remember how to tie my shoes anymore. I just can't make a putt. Now I can't tie my shoes. So it was really messing with me. And that was sort of at the tail end of, or like right at the beginning of getting out there. I was just starting to feel better. So there might've been some nerves in there, scared that I wasn't going to show up for my partner. But I mean, he did most of the work, but I made a couple putts.
I mean, you have to do pretty good overall to get third place, I feel like.
Yeah, it was really fun. I can't wait for next year. I will definitely play, and it just got me motivated. Got me a little bit of the itch for competitive golf. I'm excited to take a little break to the end of the year, and then we'll ramp it up with the next year's season. I've already got some tournaments scheduled, and we'll keep you posted. Who knows? Maybe you could be doing some fun things. I'd love to play in the U.S. Mid-Am. You guys got to keep me accountable. United States Mid-Amateur Championship. I don't know where it is, but it's old guys like us. No more college kids.
You could be like one of those guys who's like in his 40s making his first PGA appearance, trying out for the U.S. Open or the PGA Championship.
I got to get so much better. Like I'm a +1 handicap. I'm actually probably like a 1 right now. Typically I'm around a +1, and my partner was a +6. He's unbelievable, and even he's not good enough.
All right, I've got to educate this. I've heard people talk about golf for probably, at least regularly, since I do sports radio for a living. I've heard people talk about golf for 2.5, 3 years.
It's the best.
And I have not bothered to ask one time or even look it up. What the hell is a handicap in golf?
Yeah, it's really hard to explain if you've never. Essentially, it's just a measure of how good you are at golf, but the numbers don't directly correlate. Like if somebody's an 18 handicap, they say, "Oh, I usually shoot 90, so I'm an 18," because typically par is 72. So they just associate shot for shot. This is what an 18 handicap would do, but it really doesn't work like that. An 18 handicap probably shoots like 100 to 105. And it's actually a measure now, since they've readjusted, of like your best potential as opposed to what you average. So it's very confusing, but really it's just a measure of how good you are. It's a way to keep, like, even, I don't know what your handicap is, Dustin, but I've never played with you. You could tell me what your handicap is, and I could give you enough shots that it would be a fair, quote unquote, match, as long as your handicap's accurate, mine's accurate, which it probably isn't. Right. I'm probably worse than what it is, but you have to get a handicap and you see how it changes, and then you'll really understand how it correlates to the actual scores. But simplest form, it's just a way to determine how good somebody is and how good they can be specifically.
It gets really complex too, not just from what Mitchell just said, but also like I've tried to calculate, like I put scores into a calculator. First of all, you have to play a lot. Second of all,
just 20 rounds.
It takes in, okay, I don't play that much. It takes into account like the course difficulty, the slope, the length of holes. Like it takes in all of these. It's basically like baseball. Like, you know how there's a million stats, some sort of record for every little thing in baseball? That's how you figure out a golf handicap. It is ridiculous. So I downloaded an app one time. I put my scores in there. And then I just, like, after the 6th round, I think I stopped doing it.
Yeah. If I didn't know any better, I would have, like, again, this is a couple of years ago, and I would have gone golfing with somebody, and they would have asked what my handicap was. I probably would have said something like, I don't need a wheelchair, or I don't need, assistance getting to the tee, or that kind of thing.
Yeah. Typically, if somebody asks, like, if you're on the first tee, this is for the golf hardos out there. I'd be curious. Anybody listening, maybe this is a call-in experience, but you get up on the first tee and somebody you don't know, and they ask straight away what your handicap is. That's a person you don't really want to play with. Like if you're not on the course, it's different. Like, hey man, what's your handicap? Like, can you play? Are you good? But if you get on the first tee, someone you've never met, and they ask straight away, hey, what's your handicap? They're probably going to try to gamble with you. And it's very bizarre. But you can also, if somebody asks what your handicap is, like I'm a 0 or whatever I am, I typically say a 10 and see if they'll gamble with me and try to take all their money.
Do you know what my favorite thing to do is go play golf like the day after the Masters, like that Monday.
It's the best.
Or Tuesday, because you have so many people that just came off that high of seeing everything at Augusta. And I remember I was living in Georgia. I think this was 2 years ago, maybe. And it was funny how everything we watched on TV, like that's what we were trying to emulate, or like, because the greens at Augusta were so fast, right? And you're just watching these balls sail by, barely hitting them. We got onto like the 6th hole, and all of us had left every single putt like 5 feet short of the cup because we were convinced we were playing at Augusta. And at one point, I just looked at everybody in the group. It was like a 4-man. The course was sold out. It was me, one other guy, and then like a father-son. And I was like, guys, I think we just watched too much of the Masters this past weekend because we left every putt short through the first 6 holes.
You should have. I went to the Masters for the first time this past year. And I can't remember if it was the day after or the Monday, whenever it was, the next time I went to play. I treated every shot, and it was just me by myself, like I was trying to win the Masters. It was I was so dialed in. I watched John Rahm 4-putt the first green, and then obviously he goes on to win it. But I was standing right on that front rope, and I'm like reading putts like, oh, you can't do what John did, calling him by his first name like he's my best friend.
My brother and I, we'll do like these things where I'll go down to Florida and we'll probably play a round or two of golf. And we usually schedule like a 10:30, 11 tee time because we don't want to get up too early. But I will like wake up that morning and put on the Masters theme on my phone and then just walk around the apartment. get us in the mode. It's so stupid, but it's so fun.
A better way to wake up than knowing you're playing golf. I like being the first tee time, so I'm out there. I'm a dew sweeper, but I hop out of bed like I think I wake up dressed, ready to go. I'm already ready. It's just there's just something different. I glow different when I talk about golf. So we need to probably, if we're going to talk about anything else today, we got to change topics right now.
We do,
because I'm starting to get into the mode.
I was like, we're pushing 17 minutes here, but it was good. Well, I mean, I wanted to hear your story on what happened. Obviously, you placed very well in Scottsdale, and I learned a couple things about handicaps that I've been wondering for 2.5, 3 years or whatever.
Do you feel better? Do you feel like you know everything now?
I know all I need to know about golf.
That's perfect. Yeah.
So again, well, that is a long-winded way in welcoming you into this episode of Out of Touch. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already.
15 minutes before we welcomed anybody in.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Mitchell, Dustin and I talked last week on the air, of course, because we only make decisions about the show on the air for some reason. We were thinking about changing the name of the YouTube channel to just Out of Touch Media instead of, my stupid ass first and last name, John Alden. Because then it doesn't limit us to just the podcast. Everything just be under the Out of Touch Media umbrella. So,
and when you call it that, it makes it seem like we're trying to start a media mogul.
It does. That's what I said.
Out of Touch Media. I'm all in. This was a good on air meeting. Nice, quick to the
very
point.
Quick.
Easy. Yeah.
So we might be doing that but for now though, subscribe to whatever the YouTube channel is currently called. It might be.
Maybe I'll start streaming on Out of Touch Media.
Maybe we'll do that. That may be a good way. Yeah, we just all branch off and do our own solo projects. Maybe do stuff like that.
Under the umbrella, baby.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and we won't get into this right now, but Mitchell's doing some live streaming, Twitch-esque. He's not doing it on Twitch, but he's doing some experimentation, and so maybe we can get into that some other time. But also, Mitchell mentioned the hotline earlier, 502-830-9195. If you want to leave us a message, what is it that did you have the call to action? What did you want people to call about?
Golf stories. I want to hear them. Golf stories are the best. You see just the most out of line, out of pocket characters on the golf course acting crazy. I want to hear some crazy golf stories. I know you got them from the Muni to the country club, wherever they are. We want to hear them.
There you go. Even putt. Even if you have putt golf stories, I'll take.
I'll save mine for next week since we've already talked enough golf.
I like it.
There you go. Again, 502-830-9195 is the number if you want to call and leave us a message with your golf stories, etc., etc. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our weekly, and this will be the first time we've done it with Mitchell versus Dustin. And this is our weekly funny town names. What do you say, sweet music? Yeah, we're going to try. Hopefully we don't get copyrighted for this. This is supposed to be copyright free, but we'll see. But we've got we're doing Arizona, quite frankly, after Mitchell just arrived back from Scottsdale. And again, how this works, for those of you who are new or maybe haven't heard this segment before, Dustin is going to compete with Mitchell. And I guess technically this will be the first time we've done it with both of them competing. and I'm going to give them 4 or 5 town names, 4 or 5 rounds, I guess, maybe 2 apiece, maybe 3. And they're going to have to guess whether the name that I give them is a real town name in Arizona or a fake town name. And we're doing this with all the states until we reach, the end, which I guess would be Wyoming, from Alabama to Wyoming. We've already hit Alabama, Alaska, and this week is Arizona. So without further ado, we have funny town names in Arizona, Dustin versus Mitchell.
So how does this work? Does he get a chance and then I get a steal?
No, because they're just 2 selections. So
Right,
Dustin will go first here. I'm going to give him 2 choices: one town name versus the other. One of them's a fake name, and then the other one's real.
Then I go with a different city.
No, then you answer your own. You answer a different one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay.
So there we go.
Oh, we're done.
All right, first up, we're going to go to Dustin for the first one. Fuzzy bottom or nothing?
I'm going to say nothing.
That's correct.
Dang, I
Nothing.
knew that one too.
So apparently in the town of Nothing, Arizona, you'll find almost nothing. And the name was apparently given by a quote-unquote bunch of drunk. Oh, Biscuit doesn't seem very happy about that. The town name was supposedly named by people who, were just out partying, I guess back in 1800, whatever it might have been. So Dustin's got a
parties
point.
were live in 1800s. I bet the parties were off the chain, as the kids say.
Plus, people didn't take care of themselves back then. They didn't have any science that told them how far they went was going to be too much.
Especially in Arizona, people could just you could go out, try to just have a drink with your buddy, and someone could just get shot at the bar.
You might stumble into a cactus and poke your eye out and never be seen again.
There was so much bad stuff that could happen.
People were probably waiting for the air conditioner to be invented.
They were hot. Can you imagine how stinky they were?
I know.
Stinky.
That could not have been fun.
That's
all right. Moving forward. Oh shoot, what's going on here? I'm losing
this music is vibey.
I'm then good.
You gotta send me the link to this. I just put this on repeat all day.
All right, next up, Mitchell. These are yours. We've got Carefree or Splatville.
I was just in Carefree. I was just there.
Let's see. You were just in Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if you
drove
know all
through
of these now.
Carefree. It's a beautiful place. If you would like to have a house there, you better win the lottery.
So Carefree, it was named Carefree to give the idea for residents to have a carefree attitude toward life. Is it a rich area, Mitchell? When you drove through there, could you tell?
It felt like it. I wouldn't say the house there. I didn't see.
It was no Carmel, Indiana.
It wasn't the best place in the world to live, but yeah. I mean the mountains. There's some houses that, like I said, you better win the lottery because they probably don't even let you on the property.
Well, there you have it. So 1-1, Mitchell and Dustin tied in the early going. Sorry for that little bit of dead air. I was trying to make sure I had my next fake name ready. Dustin.
He wasn't even listening to me. That's crazy.
It's okay. Someone's got to drive the ship, right?
Yeah,
your comments for the listeners more so than it is me.
Can't be me.
I heard the Carmel comment, and that's what you were referring to.
Yeah, Carmel's a great place.
Exactly. We love Carmel.
They have great
Shout out Carmel if you listen and you live in Carmel. All right. Next up, Dustin. Make sure I've got the one I wanted to use. Here we go. Okay. We have Blue Mound or Cowlick.
Cowlick.
I don't think I gave Mitchell the ding, so here's the second one.
All right.
So 3 correct answers so far. We have Cowlick, Arizona. Did you know that one too, Mitchell?
No, I didn't. I was probably going to guess the other one.
Pretty simple. The name comes from its mining history or something like that.
I have a Cowlick.
I used to have a Cowlick on my hair whenever
Same.
I was young.
Yeah. Every time I go into the barber, they're always like, "Whoa, you got a Cowlick!" Like it's my first time I've ever noticed it. Hell, no way. Yeah, every time it's the same reaction. It is pretty vicious. Like I can only make my hair go that way because if it goes this way, the hair just sticks up.
All right, we're going to move on to one more. And I heard what you said. One thing that I'm going to have to get better at is learning to juggle doing 4 or 5 different things while we're
Well, you could probably just pull it up on like a Microsoft Word document.
That might be a good way to do it. All right, Mitchell, I bet you'll get this one. We'll see. We have Redstone City or Y.
Like the letter Y?
No, like the word WHY.
See, Redstone City sounds pretty Arizona to me. But because of the nature of the game, I'm going to guess Y. Let's go.
I've got to find better fake names because I didn't fool either of you all at all.
Well, the Redstone City feels too real for this game.
It did feel really real.
I know, and I was like, man, it's going to be because you have one that's too real versus one that sounded completely out of left field.
You know what you should have done? You should have gone either with what or why. That would have been really good.
See,
and challenging.
This is why Dustin's the brains of this. This is why Dustin should be in charge of everything, and I should just go. If I needed a handicap for anything, it's for this. So, but anyway, why? The name for the town. Apparently, there is. Is that bad to say? Do I need to edit that out?
I'm just kidding.
Okay, I didn't think that was bad.
I just like getting you all nervous. I can feel when you get a little hot and bothered. It makes me laugh.
Oh man. So the name Y comes from there's supposedly an intersection in the town that is a Y intersection, and that's I guess they weren't created enough to give it its own name. So like, you know what? We're just gonna mail this one in, and we're gonna call it Y Arizona. So.
Wait, it was based on a letter Y?
No, so it's based on a Y-shaped intersection.
That's what I mean. So I thought you said it wasn't called the letter Y.
Yeah, well, so it's not like literally the letter Y, but like whenever if you were to type it in your GPS or whatever, it's WHY. Arizona.
Yeah, but do you understand what I'm saying? They named it after the intersection that's the letter Y. But then they're like, why would we name it that? And they're like, bingo. Is that how it went?
I guess so.
I don't know. What if the intersection is actually a WHY? Think about that.
That would be crazy.
That would be a lot of wrecks.
That'd be some alien stuff.
Yeah, a lot of wrecks.
All right, Mitchell. We're about ready to replay a call from last week. So if you didn't like the call, I apologize. I thought it was pretty funny. Mitchell hasn't heard it yet, and that's the reason we're going to play it because I want his live reaction. And I just. You know what? Should we just let it roll, Dustin?
Just let it roll.
Just let it roll. Here we go.
This is Willard. I was just wanting to let y'all know that I do poop with the door open because I like others to smell of it. It's an enhancing smell. I've had people tell me that it's fresh as a garden. And I've done it in public. And that went over so well. I found that others don't like the smell of it, even if it's country garden fresh. Like I was just wanting to let that be known on the show that I do poop with the door open.
So that was Willard.
Do we know
if you
this
don't
person?
Remember a couple of weeks ago, we posed a question. For people to, I mean, we'll move past this.
Wrong. You posed the question.
I posed the question.
I like this clarification.
Do people? Is it normal to poop with the door open?
I don't like that he didn't laugh.
You don't like that? You don't like that he didn't laugh?
I don't know. I was picturing his face the whole time, and he didn't have a smile like that. He does that, and that's fine. Willard, hey, you do whatever you want in your house, but. I'm going to do whatever I want in my house.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Shout out Willard.
He's
welcome to call anytime.
Well, anytime. Hopefully he has a golf story. I feel like Willard, this is a little probably quick to judge. But based on what I know about Willard, which is very little, I know this one specific thing. My guess is he plays his golf at the Muni, and he probably has some hilarious stories.
What is you saw the Mutiny? What you heard you say that?
The Muni. The municipal golf course.
Yeah, it's the one owned by the city. It's always cheap. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Always cheap, always full of characters.
Okay.
Not one time. One time, look, okay. So this is going to get told now. But one time I played at a municipal golf course when I was in high school for I don't remember if it was a tournament or just a duel match. And it's in Peru, Indiana, which there are some characters there.
Is it Rock Hollow?
It might have been Rock Hollow.
Rock Hollow is awesome. I don't know if that's a muni.
No, well then it wasn't. The name of that course sounds familiar. I think it was just like Peru Municipal Golf Course.
Okay.
But anyway, some random woman just came out of the woods with like this 5-gallon bucket of balls. Trying to sell it to a bunch of like 13 and 14-year-olds just trying to play golf.
I love it.
You talk about a petrifying experience. And it's like the woods is thick enough where you can't see anybody. You just hear like rustling around.
That's the best. That's
creepy.
The best. I got golf stories that are the best. I've got, like I said, we need to have a golf only episode because I'll dominate this whole thing. We'll go back to the questions, but I've got golf stories galore.
That was the only call. We don't have any new calls this week. It's one to replay since you weren't on last week.
That's fair.
Mitchell, we need to do.
Hold on. There's only 5? So Dustin got 3. I only got 2. Are we keeping points?
Yeah. So you're
I'm trying to bury him in the
That was
ground.
it for Arizona. It's 2-2. You all both were correct, and we'll keep a running tally going forward.
Was there only 4? Or was
there's
there
only
5?
4 good ones. So depending on the state, if there's like Alaska didn't have as many obscure names. Really, what we ended up doing last week, we ended up talking about this one town that, and we won't get into it right now. You can go back and listen if you want, but there's a town in Alaska that's literally just a really tall building and there's nothing else there. Like everything is within this little.
Oh, I've seen this.
unit.
This is in a documentary. There's like 400 people in the apartment.
Yes.
Building, right?
Which in theory sounds good, but do you know what that sounds like to me?
Drama. For sure.
No, it sounds like prison. Like that's jail.
Oh, it's like sounds like drama to me.
I'm telling. Well, prison is pretty dramatic.
Which I was gonna say, there's probably quite a bit of drama in jail.
Can you think about that? Like in middle school, you were probably mad if your friend talked to the girl that you like. There's only like 5 girls and 5 guys. Can you imagine how like you better act quick. That's all I'm saying. The scraps are gonna be around pretty quick. Like that's if you have one girl that's top shelf. You better get some skills.
I can break this down pretty quickly going to a small school where, I mean, it was, you are going to date your friend's girlfriend at some point. That's going to happen.
So how do you differentiate yourself? Like you got to get some skills. I'm talking about in that building. You can't like be the best player on the basketball team.
They don't even probably have a basketball team.
That's what I'm saying.
You're on the Iditarod squad. Do you think they'd have to like? Ooh. I bet it would be like hunting.
Yeah, like snow. What's that? Cross country skiing, shooting.
Yep, snowshoeing. Yep, bobsledding. The 2-man luge. See, this would be. You could go on a luge date. You want to go on a 2-man luge? We might die.
Dangerous.
Yeah, we might die, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, you'd eliminate like if one of. This is totally hypothetical. This is not something I'm thinking about normally. But
you're gonna kill off somebody.
Let's say me and Dustin like girl A. I'd probably send Dustin and girl A on the double luge date. We're gonna find out who's left pretty quick. And if it's just Dustin, I got my buddy back. It's girl A, no more competition. Think about that. No. This. You got to be pretty maniacal in this apartment building.
That's very. You've thought about this before.
Yeah, it came off a little more polished.
Is that how you got Laura? Is that how you got your wife? You eliminated the competition somehow, and there's a body buried somewhere that we don't know about.
No, I think it was my dashing good looks and incredible personality. Why are you laughing?
You just say that with a straight face, and that's it.
Yeah, why are you laughing? Maybe it was my height.
Funny.
I think it was.
There was a Eric. Do you guys remember the name Eric Fromm?
I don't think
He's
so.
a basketball player at Purdue. He played at Bloomington or at Butler. He played at Bloomington South. He was on the team that beat Indiana. Actually, he worked at the same place that I was working, and it was at a work dinner. And if you know anything about basketball players, they're tall. So he's 6'8", and he's sitting right next to me. And she'll never admit it, but I know she was trying to she gave me her number. She definitely meant to give him her number, but we don't
Look, we won't talk about it, but I do want to know how you know this.
She told me.
That's awesome.
No. She didn't tell me that she'll never admit that she gave it to the wrong person. I just think Eric left early. And I was like, what is this? That's what I think happened. This is mostly made up in my brain. She tells the complete opposite story, but what was she thinking? Like, our kids are going to be 3'5". She could have had an NBA kid and been living in a $1 million house. Now she's got to be living with some guy that plays Fortnite when he's 30. It's brutal reality.
This is something, I don't know if I want to get into this now, but you've already got me wanting to go down the rabbit hole now. So there's a topic that I was going to save for future reference. So obviously, Mitchell, you and I, maybe not so much Dustin, we're gaming adults, if you will. And that's fairly common with people our age and even older. Adult age gamers. So yeah. I was wanting to go in on Disney adults the other day. Because I think it's super weird people who go to Disney all the time. And then I got to thinking, well, I'm a freaking I game as an adult, and what's the difference between that? Everybody should have their own, hobbies or interests or whatever. But I found it interesting that I was bothered by the Disney adult thing when I feel like all of us have something that we enjoy that may seem more juvenile to other people.
Well, I think I'm a bad person to ask because I am just a juvenile.
You're a Disney adult too?
Of course. If there's a Disney movie that comes out, you can guarantee it'll be the best movie of the year. Moana, you ever watch that? Probably my favorite
I have
movie.
seen Moana. I have actually. My wife made me watch it.
It's awesome.
It wasn't bad, but
Frozen's awesome. Obviously, all the stuff we grew up on, Lion King, Aladdin. I watched Aladdin 10,000 times. Me and my pops, we were just talking about that the other day. If a Disney movie comes out, you can guarantee it'll be the best movie of the year.
But see, what gets classified as a Disney adult is like going to Disney World a lot of times.
I've been to Disney World once, and I was, I think, 8 or 9, maybe 10. And my sister, I think she was twisting like a ballerina on the concrete, fell, smashed her face. No, that was in Old Navy. That was in Old Navy. She was super sick, I think. Dang, this is another thing my mom's going to get mad about. When you're on the spot, it doesn't come as clear.
It's okay.
I think that was in the Old Navy. She's bleeding everywhere. And I'm just
oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a problem. That was a real problem. I think she was just really sick at Disney. I think.
Disney, for those listening who haven't been, Disney World and Old Navy are two very different places.
Yeah, but they're both traumatic for her.
That's a good
very
point.
Sick, deathly, trying to, I don't know. And the Old Navy one was bad. I do remember the person behind the counter, the checkout, my sister's just gushing blood out of her nose. And I'm pretty sure the girl was 16, has no clue what to do. And we're all just freaking out, help us.
I hate nosebleeds. Nosebleeds are up there with one of the, at least for me, one of the most terrifying sights, especially bad ones. I don't know what it is. I get people get nosebleeds, and even when I've gotten small ones, it doesn't really bother me. But a gushing nosebleed, something about it just looks, I don't know. I don't want to say evil, but it just looks wrong. It looks like you're going to die. If you can't control a nosebleed, what the hell are you going to do? You have a wide open faucet of your nose.
It's
just
scary.
Letting the blood leak out.
Have you ever had a full gushing nosebleed?
When I was a kid, I had some bad ones, but nothing where I couldn't stop it.
Yeah, I've only had 1 or 2, and it's terrifying. I thought that was it. I was ready to just lay on the ground. This is it. I'm dying. No more for me. Both times I did that, and I was 22 years old. This isn't like an 8-year-old. So that goes back to, I think, me being a juvenile, though, and needing my mom whenever I'm sick.
Dustin, do
I
you have a
never had
nosebleed
it.
story? No?
I didn't have a nosebleed story, but I do have. There was one time when I was, I don't know how old, young, that my allergies were acting up. And you get that like crusty sleep in your eyes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so it was like still like in liquid form though over my eyes, and it had sealed. So I woke up and I was trying to open my eyes, but it was sealed so tight that I couldn't open my eyes. So for a good 10 minutes, I thought I was blind. Because I thought my eyes were open because I couldn't open my eyelids. Like I thought they were open and I just couldn't see. So I thought I legitimately had lost my eyesight until I finally like rubbed my eyes and then just realized there was like all this gunk on it, and eventually wiped it away and like was able to open my eyelids. But yeah, for 10 minutes of my life, I thought I lost all my eyesight overnight,
so
by the
funny.
way.
Have you guys
So good.
seen the movie? I don't know if it's Bruce Almighty or Evan Almighty. I think it's the first one, Bruce Almighty, with Steve Carell and Jim Carrey.
I
Yeah,
have.
but which part?
What? What do you mean, which
Which
part?
which part of the movie? Yes, I've seen it. Sorry. Which
So,
part
like, I don't even know if this is in like the actual movie. This might be in like a deleted scene or something. But so obviously, for those who haven't seen it, Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey, he like has these god powers or whatever. God gives him all of
he's
these.
mad at God, and God
Yeah.
says, if you think you can do better, do it.
Yeah. And there's another guy in the movie named Evan, and Jim Carrey's character Bruce messes with Evan a lot. And there's this one scene, and I think it's a deleted scene, where he's messing with him, and like he's like a news broadcaster or something. That's in the actual movie, but this part that I'm about ready to explain, or at least attempt to explain, isn't. He makes Evan have a nosebleed while on the air, and he makes it to where it's like where he has to go to the hospital. Like it's that bad. Mitchell, you're giving me the look like you haven't seen this. It's terrifying.
I just loved that. I looked at the clock on the recording when you started that story, and it was almost 40 minutes. And then you told the story at 42 minutes and 20 seconds.
Well,
you started the story.
I'm very big
you
on
were
context.
done by the story. You were done with the story. You started at 42:20, and you were done at 42:26. Well, built up for 3 minutes to tell us 6 seconds.
It was more about giving background on what the movie was about, more so than it being a big story.
I know.
But anyway, so there's more to it, and I wasn't done. I thought you were going to say something in regards to what I was.
I just like messing with you, dude. You're just flustered now. I love it. It makes me laugh.
That's okay. So whenever he sends him to the hospital, you see Evan with his nose holes plugged up with these like big patches because they couldn't get it stopped otherwise. But seeing that is part of what makes having, a seemingly uncontrollable nosebleed even more terrifying. And that's a comedy movie. Like what? And I get why that's a deleted scene, because why the hell would you want to, scare people in something that's supposed to be funny, I guess, right?
I think you just nailed it. That's probably why it's a deleted scene. You nailed it.
I'm just very confused as to what happened for the last 4 minutes.
Dude,
of this
gone,
show.
vanished. They're gone into oblivion. We let Bruce Almighty take over. He just deleted our brains for 4 minutes. It was good.
Do you know what I hate?
Go ahead.
We have been talking nosebleeds. You know what I hate is that when it gets so dark out so early now, I'm hungry. And I'm so lazy that I don't want to go to the store, so I've eaten everything that I can possibly eat in my house. And now I have no food. But it's also cold outside, so I don't want to go get food. So I'm left to a decision of going outside and freezing or not eating anything tonight.
Or, and hear me out, eat your dog, which I know you're not going to do, but the people do that, don't they? In China or whatever.
That is a crazy suggestion.
I'm not suggesting that he do it, but that is he's sitting out here. Hear me out. I'm laying out his options. You don't have to take any of the options, but you can act like that people don't do that.
No one's saying it. He would not be invited back to the podcast if he did that. At the very minimum.
That's at the very.
At the
I would be locked up
in the United States to like if you were to eat your dog.
Yeah, that is 100% illegal.
It is a crime. They would put me in that apartment hotel prison in Alaska if I tried to do that.
And then he'd be trying to fight off the contenders for Girl 1A. And
there you go.
That's just tough. He's got no skills.
Right, one more thing before we wrap this episode up for the night. Hairlines, receding hairlines. We were talking about this before the show, and it's an interesting topic, especially for three dudes. And Mitchell,
you don't look like you think about it very much. You got a nice full set.
So my family says I have what's called, it's kind of embarrassing. It's the barcode haircut, but I don't have the bangs the way that I used to. Whenever I was younger, my hair would come down, I guess where to my fingers are. And shout out to my bro, Justin. He's the one who kind of, I guess, came up with the idea, or I don't know if he invented it, the name of it. Surely he didn't, but he's like, you got the barcode haircut, man. And it didn't bother me, but like,
it should have. That's so mean.
It did, but it kind of did. So anyway, now my hair goes all the way to the top.
That is the funniest way to describe a haircut. And yeah, now I'm just going to see a barcode on your forehead for the rest of time until you get a different haircut.
But I don't know. It doesn't grow down, so like it's not really that anymore.
Where does it grow?
It grows, and this is part of the receding part of it. It grows more like up or like just straight forward, if that makes sense.
So could you have like a baseball hat of hair?
What I should do, what I should have done, and maybe if we revisit this conversation, there are old photos of me where like it looks like complete shit. Honestly, but I was a kid. When I was a kid, I didn't care, and I'm glad that I was like that. Like I was very good as a kid in school of not like people didn't make fun of me, and if they did, it didn't really bother me that much, and it normally wasn't about my haircut in the first place. But when I look back on it, it is a sight to behold. The barcode haircut.
We're gonna need some pictures of that first of all.
Maybe if you all tell, if I don't know if receding hairlines bother you, maybe I'll pull one up before we wrap this thing up and show it.
I'm receding. This is what we were talking about. Look at that. That's receding right there, boys.
I was just imagining John. I don't know if you get this reference. I think Mitchell will. Do you remember Elfrid Payton? I don't know if he's still in the NBA or not.
Yes.
Okay, he has that exact hair that you're talking about.
The barcode.
Boy.
No, he's got. It looks like a baseball hat.
Yeah, it's crazy. Except his is like he's black, so he's got like the tighter. He can like do cooler stuff than we can.
I think it's just I think it's dreadlock. Like it's some like dreadlocks or something. I don't know what it is, but it's like
for the Magic.
Yes, he did. It was like it was a style more than it just grew straight out.
I've got the photo, and shout out my friend Peyton.
Oh, he's on the Suns. He was also on the Magic.
My friend Peyton's also in this photo, so if he's watching, shout out to him. But this is the hair I'm referring to, going all the way down to. And you can tell
the product,
the length of a difference.
Also,
can we zoom in on this?
Can we zoom in? I don't know that I can. This is on. Oh, hold on.
Those
full
pants
screen.
like
here we go. Here's a little zoom
length. Yeah,
for those of you on YouTube.
Yeah, this is another reason to go on
Spotify.
YouTube.
You can't see this. Yeah, if you want to see how ridiculous my hair looks, and you're listening on Spotify, this is probably when I'm 7th or 8th grade age. I don't know what that is, like 12 or 13 years old. This is what my mop of a hairdo looked like back in the day. So
I can't believe kids would make fun of you for that.
Well, again, I wasn't particularly made fun of for my hair. That was mainly my family doing that, and even more specifically, it was my brother Justin. And I know he listens to this, so shout out to him. So
he was getting made fun of. He was getting made fun of, Mitchell, for how high he wore his pants.
My dog.
My pants. What? So something wrong with my pants too? No, it was,
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that you were wiping your chin with them.
Those pants are high.
Duh. What in the world is going on?
Those second as a bib.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Dude, you can look at me now. Like my beard needs to be trimmed up. I honestly need a bit of a haircut in general. I need to be kind of shaped up in general. I've never in my history had any sort of sense of fashion, if that's even what you want to call it. It's more like self-awareness, I guess, of what I look like.
If your hair grows straight out now, like you could just have hat hair all the time, but it's like a hat. You know what I'm saying? It just grows straight off your head.
Now I know what you mean by that. But what
I think you could get a bill of a hat over your head now that I look at it. And
it wouldn't surprise me if down the line, if I just, pull a Chris Daughtry and just go bald and keep the beard. I may have said that on this show before, but I can see.
Would you ever get a rat tail? You look like a guy that get a rat tail. You definitely had a rat tail. You had a rat tail.
Probably until a couple of years ago, I didn't know what a rat tail was. Excuse me.
That's because you had one. And you're just like, this is my hair.
This is my normal hair. The reason I shaved my head is because when we first started the This Week in Indiana Football podcast, I usually wore a hat.
All the time.
That's right. I remember that.
And there was a time we logged on beforehand. And John, before he hit the record, was like, "Oh my God, your hairline is receding."
Yeah. These things don't stick with us, man. It doesn't hurt our feelings at all. Not that he remembers.
So a week or two later, I was like, "Yep, we'll just take out the clippers and ever since then."
That wasn't meant to piss you off, but again,
well, it didn't piss him off. It ruined his life.
I don't. There are sometimes I say things that I don't realize hurt other people's feelings.
Yeah, and you probably didn't smile.
But do you know? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It's like one of those things that nobody wants to say, but somebody has to say it. So you said the thing, and now I feel like I look a million times better. I mean, I still don't look great, don't get me wrong, but I look a million times better than I did.
Oh, you're hot, dude. You're hot.
Yeah, that's it.
Me right now. What's wrong with my appearance right now?
You don't have a rat tail.
So I need the
it's obvious.
We can't see how high up you're wearing your pants. Is it above the belly button, below?
I thought he was gonna go no pants.
Pajama pants on too for those who can't see. I don't even know if I can. There we go. Pull this little.
Oh, he's got pajama bottoms on.
Yeah,
I don't know how the audio sounded for that.
I appreciate you getting dressed up.
9 times out of 10. By the way, a little behind the scenes action after that. 9 times out of 10, I record the show in my pajama pants. It just makes it cozy.
That's better than what I.
What are you recording it the 10th time? Jeans? Khakis?
Maybe I might be
Snow
fully
pants?
nude sometimes.
That's what I do every time.
Got a little Winnie the Pooh situation going on?
Doing a little Winnie the Pooh.
just a t-shirt.
I could do that with some of my old shirts that are mediums. That's a pretty tough realization that's happened over the last
All right, speaking
year.
of poo, I've got to embarrass myself.
When they're mediums?
I wore mediums in college. Like all my Indiana stuff that I love to wear, it's all so comfortable. That's Winnie the Pooh size on me now.
All right.
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Don't feel like I've gotten super fat, but those don't fit.
Last story, and then we'll wrap this up. And the only reason I'm doing the story is I told my wife I was going to do it, and I wasn't going to until.
But now you are.
Yeah, because
you're going to lie to
Winnie
your
the
wife.
Pooh, and I was like, speaking of poo, and so here we go. So yesterday, specifically, the toilet was clogged, and there was not a plunger nearby. I didn't know where a plunger was, and
oh no!
Instead of using a plunger, I used the next best thing, which was like one of those toilet scrubby things.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And literally, I mean, treated it as if it was a plunger, but my wife, Alicia, shout out Alicia, if you're watching this. We're getting a lot of shout outs today. Yeah, it worked, but I had to go outside and spray off the entire thing because it had moist and disgusting, shreds of toilet paper attached to the little beads, and then my wife had to bleach it after I sprayed it off outside, and it was not my proudest moment, I should say, with I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say what everybody's thinking. We're just happy you didn't use your hand.
So that's where I thought this was going.
Yeah,
man,
it could have been a lot worse. You built that up like it was for sure going to be your.
And maybe
arm.
that was the plan. Maybe I was trying to make it seem like I did something even more ridiculous than I actually did.
I think that was your goal.
Build up to that story was much faster. It felt way longer because I thought it was going towards the arm.
I have trauma from that buildup. And it didn't even turn out. I didn't even turn out the way I thought.
Whatever the opposite of the edge of your seat is, that's what I was on.
I don't think I would have openly admitted that I stuck my hand down a toilet if I actually did that.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I was a little nervous for you.
Well, there you
This
go.
is how I want to end the show.
Okay.
And you guys need to tell me if I'm wrong. And this can be another caller opinion. Girls use way too much toilet paper. We buy bags of toilet paper, and they're gone in 3 days. Where does it go? That's what I'm going to leave. I've been thinking about that for the last week. We've had all this toilet paper. And Laura's going to listen to this while she's on the treadmill. And she's going to be just getting done. And I'm going to hit her with this. Stop using all the toilet paper. Where does it go? And if you live with a girl, I'd be curious. What are you doing? Where is it going? Because I don't need, I would buy toilet paper when it was just me. That would last me months. You buy one of those big 24 racks? Months. Easy. So that's, have you ever seen What Grinds My Gears, Family Guy? That's what's grinding my gears right now.
What is happening with all this toilet paper?
This makes me so angry.
Well, that's the wrong track. Look at me.
This
Hit the
is
hotline, 502-830-9195. Subscribe on YouTube. The name of the YouTube channel may change. Right now, it's John Alden. It may be Out of Touch Media.
No, it's Out of Touch Media. We're a mogul, man.
We're a mogul.
We're taking this thing to the moon.
Thanks for listening. What a fun episode. We were all over the place. But we'll keep bringing it to you close to Christmas. Maybe we'll do some more Christmas ridiculousness coming up. Who knows? But thanks as always, and we'll talk to you next time.